Hey, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am a logical lefty, and this is, well, where I talk about the political news of the day. So it's going to be an interesting show. Actually, there's a lot of good news today. What is going on here? Good news in the Trump era. It's pretty rare. So when it does happen, obviously, really important to talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do today. We have great news out of Wisconsin. Mm. We have Trump world maybe souring on Elon Musk. Finally. And then we have Republicans. They're getting ready to jam their tax cut bill through Congress. And what does the parliamentarian have to say about that? Very interesting. Interesting discussion we're going to have. We have a Republican, ex-Republican official in New York getting busted. For what? CSAM. Okay. I'm pretty sure most of you know what that means, what that stands for. And so, yeah, not a drag queen. We've got that story. And then Barack Obama tried to derail Kamala Harris. So there's a little bit of inside baseball / drama in the Democratic Party. So, yeah, very interesting stuff that I've got planned for you all today. If you haven't already, please like, share the stream on YouTube or wherever else it's streaming. I'm actually trying the TikTok stream, which is very interesting. But like I barely have any TikTok audience, so it's a little lonely over there. But YouTube, thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching. Please again like and share. Consider becoming a member on YouTube. I need your help more than ever. Or if you want to sign up elsewhere, please go to our Patreon, patreon.com/jeffwaldorf. You can see it down there on the ticker, which is very nice. It's got all the stuff that I would ask my viewers to do if they're capable of, if they're able to. Okay, I didn't mean to make it sound like my viewers don't know how to click on something. No, that's not what I mean. Those of you who are able to give, I would appreciate it. And those of you who can't, just like and share. That's what's important. All right. That said, why don't we just dive in, and we'll start out with Wisconsin. Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Okay. Sorry. It's what we're trying to fight against, oligarchy. Okay. Chief Twit Elon Musk was handed a huge loss on Tuesday night as his efforts to buy the Wisconsin Supreme Court failed. That's right, failed. The winner of the most expensive Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin history is liberal Susan Crawford. Fighting against, of course, former state attorney general Brad Schimmel. Crawford's campaign was focused on protecting women's reproductive rights and had portrayed her opponent, Schimmel, as beholden to Donald Trump, which of course he is. His entire campaign was like, I'm going to be super, super Trumpy, and I'm going to help Trump do his, the things that he wants to do. His agenda is my agenda. There's like literally no difference between me and Donald Trump. It didn't seem to work. Okay. And now Crawford's campaign basically said, hey, look, this guy is corrupt. He's beholden to Trump and Elon Musk. So do you want that? I don't want that. Okay. And apparently neither did the voters. Now, Musk spent at least $8 million of his own money on this race, and affiliated groups spent about $20 million. And affiliated groups all combined, okay? And that's just a fraction, by the way, of what was spent here in this race. About $67 million was spent in television ads and nearly $100 million overall. So, again, super expensive, right? Now, the result, of course, is that you had massive turnout. Nearing the levels of the 2022 midterm elections, Musk spent his money in an effort to try to convince GOP voters to turn out. Didn't happen. But Crawford, liberal supporters, they did turn out. Okay, so now Crawford's victory on the court means that liberals will retain a 4-3 advantage. Now, what is that going to mean effectively? Well, for one, they'll be able to protect reproductive rights. Secondly, and I think this is way more important here, they will possibly be able to strike down the state's gerrymandered congressional map, which is something Republicans were actually very, very concerned about here. In fact, here is Manu Raju saying GOP Representative Derek Von Orden had predicted that he and Representative Brian Stale would end up losing their seats if Crawford won the Supreme Court race because of redistricting. We both lose, he told me. So that's why everyone's paying attention to this on a national level. So, yeah, if that happens, well, that's 2 more seats in the House for Democrats. That's only they're only led by a very slim Republican majority. It'll take basically losing 3 seats to lose that majority. Okay, just flipping 3 seats. And now with this, that became a little bit more likely. Okay, that said, wasn't a totally great night for the Democrats. Florida Republicans, they were able to defend a House seat. Republican Randy Fine defeated Democrat Josh Whale in a special election for that open seat from Mike Waltz. That said, even this race was a bit closer than a lot of people expected that it would be. Democrats are optimistic. Private polls had showed Whale within striking distance despite Donald Trump carrying the district last November by 30 points. The results had Fine with 56.6% of the vote to Whale's 42.7%. That's in Florida. Whoa. So, yeah, a loss is still a loss, but that's a much closer loss. Okay. That's got Republicans nervous. That said, Musk took a beating. All right. He went to Wisconsin. He did a rally where he put on a cheese hat and even handed out $1 million checks to like connected Republicans, but still. Wait, you thought he was just giving out checks to randos? No, of course not. One of the winners was Nicholas Jacobs, the chairman of the Wisconsin College Republicans. The other winner actually is kind of getting Musk in trouble.
My name's Ekaterina Diesler. I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I did exactly what Elon Musk told everyone to do. Sign a petition, refer friends and family, vote, and now I have $1 million.
Wait. What was it? What was that one part? You did what for $1 million? Did you just say vote? Uh-oh. That's not good.
Whoopsie.
They had to delete that. They pulled it. That video was posted by Elon Musk's PAC before we got to get rid of it. We had to delete it. And they replaced it with another that looked just about exactly the same, except without her saying vote. Because Elon told me to vote, and therefore, then I got $1 million. No, you're not supposed to do that. Paying people to vote is illegal. Oops. Now, that said, Jeb Mandel, general counsel of the progressive voting rights firm Law Forward, said it's clear that America PAC keeps changing its cover story, but the underlying reality is unchanged. That this should happen more than once shouts everything you need to know about their intentions. Yes, to try to buy this seat. That said, Elon Musk's loss here was met with some celebration online. In fact, you have a congressional candidate, Kat Abugas. I can't even say her name. I'm so sorry. I'm having an off day today. She's a fantastic candidate, by the way, though, and a fantastic person, but I just can't seem to say her name today. But she said, America hates Elon Musk so much that he can literally wave millions of dollars under voters' noses, and they'll still tell him to F off. You love to see it. Bradley Whitford writes, another reminder that money can't buy you love, at Elon. JB Pritzker writes, Elon is not good at this. Hamant Mehta says, how do we get Elon Musk to campaign everywhere? Asking for all Democrats. Nice. The Lincoln Project writes, Elon Musk went to Wisconsin where he said the destiny of humanity rested on the election. Tonight, the voters agreed and rejected his and Trump's undemocratic vision for the country. Abu Ghazala, sorry. Yeah, thank you. I feel bad. like I said, I'm having a total off day today. But anyway, Leah Greenberg writes, almost like large numbers of real voters really dislike Elon Musk. Yes, it's true. Who could have known that people do not really like the weirdo billionaire with like 14, 15 kids? I don't know how many kids. But the guy that keeps trying to cut off grandma's Social Security and your health care. Who would have thought that it turns out he's not exactly the most popular guy? And the funniest thing about that is that he doesn't understand why people dislike him so much. Okay. Look, Elon Musk is what happens when all your life, your mommy calls you her special little guy, special little boy, and gives you everything that you want while insulating you from any and all real criticism. That's what happens. But hey, sad day for you, Elon. Now, the next question, of course, is, will Republicans start to distance themselves from Musk and Doge? Or will they double down, even if it means more losses for them? I suppose we'll have to see. Okay. We've got more Elon Musk. So don't worry about that. Might even have an answer to that question. Oh, interesting. But he is wearing a funny hat. It's true. This true. Florida seats were unfortunately never going to flip right now. Those margins should terrify Republicans then, though. Yes, 100%. 100%. A day after his humiliating defeat in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, where he showed up, spent millions of dollars, and even claimed that the results would shape the future of humanity, it's being reported that Elon Musk is now stepping back. According to Politico, Trump told his inner circle, including members of his cabinet, that Musk will be stepping back in the coming weeks from his current role. What role is that? Advisor to Trump or whatever, Doge father? I don't know. But the president, they write, remains pleased with Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency initiative. But both men have decided in recent days that it will soon be time for Musk to return to his businesses and take on a supporting role, according to 3 Trump insiders who were granted anonymity to describe the evolving relationship. Look, I believe that this is a result of Musk being incredibly unpopular. And look, some Trump insiders and many outside allies are apparently frustrated with Elon Musk and his unpredictability, and are increasingly viewing the billionaire as a political liability, which definitely is getting hammered home after this Wisconsin race, where he spent about $8 million of his own money, $20 million from his PACs and affiliated PACs to get a just loss. Like, no return on investment on that one. In fact, there's evidence that his involvement actually made it worse for Republicans. So there you go. Now, that said, one senior administration official said Musk is likely to retain an informal role as an advisor and continue to be an occasional face around the White House grounds. Another caution that anyone who thinks Musk is going to disappear entirely from Trump's orbit is quote-unquote fooling themselves. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. That's the last thing we want, for Musk to disappear. Yes, that's right. That said, all of that is really dependent on how unpopular he continues to be. So, to be fair on that. That said, Musk has defenders in the White House, including Donald Trump. That said, a lot of them do believe that the time is right for transition. I thought they banned that word, transition, given their view that there's only so much more that Musk can cut from government agencies. Yes, let's not forget that it was Trump and Musk that cut the VA, that made it so that, it's much more difficult to be able to get the Social Security benefits that you have earned. So, but again, he was already on the way out before this race. So let's be fair about that too. There was a March 24th cabinet meeting where Trump told the attendees, hey, Musk is going to be transitioning out of the administration, because he's a special government employee and he can't stay around forever. Although some people were like, no, he will stay around forever. Okay. Why doesn't Trump just extend his special government employee designation? Well, it's very unlikely that's going to happen now. But what is the big problem here with Musk, according to insiders? Well, they see him as unpredictable, unmanageable. Well, that sounds familiar. Who has had issues communicating his plans with the proper cabinet secretaries. He doesn't really use the White House chain of command, which goes through, of course, Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. They're not happy with him. They said that he would frequently send them into a frenzy with unexpected and off-message comments on X, his social media platform, including sharing unvetted and uncoordinated plans to cut federal agencies. Yeah. But what does Musk say about this? Again, since he's on the way out. Well, he basically says when it's his time to go, mission accomplished. Quote, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame, he said in a recent interview. To which I say, of course, not even close. Not even close. A lot of the stuff that's being posted on the Doge website and things like that about, look how much money we saved here, is very dubious. I don't trust it at all, and most people don't. Okay? And so, yeah, not going to happen. But he sure did piss a lot of people off. Okay? And apparently those close to Trump are actually becoming increasingly relieved that he's heading towards the door. And that the litany of the Doge surprises might finally be coming to an end. Not only that, but after Tuesday's big losses, Trump world is going to be even more relieved that the Democrats will, won't be able to use him anymore as the face of the administration once he is gone. What happens to Musk when he's gone, by the way? Well, apparently he's not going to be returning to a very good situation. In fact, according to reports, Tesla sales are tanking, as well as the stock price. In fact, they fell 13% within the first 3 months of the year, which is another sign that Musk's electric car company is struggling to attract buyers. The double-digit drop is likely due to a combination of factors, including aging lineup, competition from rivals, and a backlash from Musk's embrace of right-wing politics. Dan Ives of Wedbush said in a note to clients that Tesla is seeing soft demand. Very soft. The softest demand.
Sexual anarchy.
No.
Insurrection is about the people.
No, it's not. It's soft. It's very soft, okay? I know. Sorry about that. But it's soft demand, okay, in the United States and China, as well as increasing pressure in Europe. The brand crisis issues are clearly having a negative impact on Tesla, said Ives. There is no debate. We are not going to look at these numbers with rose-colored glasses. They were a disaster on every metric. Oof, it's getting so bad that Tesla owners are no longer allowed to trade in their Cybertrucks. According to Electrek, Tesla is now sitting on roughly 2,400 unsold Wank Panzers, that's what I like to call them, an inventory worth an estimated $200 million. The report also notes that, that used Cybertruck prices have plunged 55% year over year, with sharp declines continuing month over month. Oh no! Here we go.
Oh no!
But it gets worse. To make matters worse, owners have taken to online forums and social media to complain that Tesla is refusing to accept the Cybertruck as a trade-in, even for other Tesla vehicles. Some owners facing long delays for service and unresolved issues say that they have been directed towards lemon law remedies rather than offering buybacks or replacements. Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Oh no. Look, I'm not saying that Elon Musk killed his business or anything, but it's starting to look that way. Okay. And here's one of the reasons why. All right. He pissed off his customer base. EV buying liberals. That's it. I mean, that's who was buying his cars. No replacement. There's no replacement for those people. It's not like MAGA is rushing out to buy the swastika car. Okay? They don't like electric vehicles. They hate them. Fox News and right-wing media have primed them to hate anything that doesn't spew out, tons of carbon emissions. So, oops. What are you going to do? So, I don't know what Elon Musk is going to go back to, if anything at all, but I can tell you, it ain't good. And there you go. All right, moving on here. We got Republican tax cuts coming. Here we go. Oh boy. Republicans are getting ready to ram their $5 trillion tax cut package for the rich through Congress and are looking to steamroll over the Senate rules in order to do it. So now, HuffPost explains, and I'm going to get into some arcane rules here, okay? But basically, the risky and never-before-used strategy that Republicans are planning to use to get these tax cuts into place hinges on how to account for the bill's impact on the deficit. Remember, this is a massive tax cut bill, right? So what they're going to do is try to use some fancy accounting tricks in order to claim that the tax cuts are actually free. They're not going to cost anything. No, tax cuts are free. They're not going to impact the deficit whatsoever. Now, everybody who knows simple math knows that that's not true at all. But what they're planning to do is to use something called a current policy baseline. So basically they're saying, well, hey, look, the current policy has the 2017 tax cuts already baked in. So we're just gonna go with that, right? And pretend that they have already been extended permanently. But they haven't been. They expire this year. But they're gonna say, no. Let's just pretend that they didn't expire because we're gonna pass them anyway, whether you like them or not. We're gonna ram them right down your throat. Oh, okay, well, great. Now, under this method, though, Republicans could claim that the huge part of the tax cuts would be cost-free. Now, in the real world, of course, we know that that is not true. In fact, all of Trump's tax proposals, if they all go through, we're looking at a massive, massive deficit. So there it is. I mean, if not offset, the tax proposals could increase the deficit by $9.1 trillion over 10 years. And again, this is from mostly from the Trump tax cuts. Okay. And by the way, it will also help the very wealthy. Look at that. It would, of course, decrease the taxes most for the very rich. Because that was the whole point. Of course it was the whole point. Now, it's important to note, too, that this money will not trickle down because it never trickles down. Okay? So it's just going to blow a gigantic hole in the deficit and not actually go back down to the workers. It's not going to trickle down to the workers, and it's not going to help the economy. It's just taking money and handing it to the rich. That's it. So now, that said, they're using this current policy thing baseline in order to try to push this to say, well, it's free, so we're just going to keep doing this, and we're going to extend them, and these tax cuts, and everybody's a winner, right? Wait a minute. Well, this has got to go through Congress, right? Can't the Democrats just filibuster it? No, it's because they're trying to ram it through using budget reconciliation. Now, when you put something through reconciliation, that only requires a simple majority vote in the Senate. They've got enough votes. They need 51. They've got it. So, yes, a lot of these Republicans, even though, the fiscal hawks, they're still going to probably vote to support tax cuts for the rich. Of course they are. Even though if they're saying, well, look at the deficit, though. Yeah, but their solution to that is just to gut even more of the government. So, and there's not much left. Okay. Yes, they would want to definitely get into Medicare spending and Social Security and Medicaid, which again, the GOP budget would cut about $880 billion out of Medicaid anyway. So there's again, I keep saying we do not have a spending problem. We have a tax problem. We're not taxing the rich enough. Okay. They're not paying what they owe. There's so many loopholes and so many exemptions. And of course, low corporate taxes, low taxes on the rich. And so that's one of the problems, right? Now, here's some irony, okay? Now, Republicans are also expected to seek a green light using current policy from the Senate parliamentarian. Oh, remember the Senate parliamentarian? Turns out the Republicans were like, you know what? Screw the parliamentarian. Don't care. A meeting between the parliamentarian and Democratic and Republican budget staffers was canceled on Tuesday, a sign that Senate Republicans are just planning to jam it through anyway. Wait, are you saying they could ignore the Senate parliamentarian? Because I was told that no, you can't ignore the parliamentarian. Can't do it. Not allowed. That would be bad. That's why we can't, make sure to raise the minimum wage. That's the parliamentarian said no. But wait, here's what Republicans are doing. Leaders argued in a closed-door lunch on Tuesday that Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham has sufficient authority under the Congressional Budget Act to score the reconciliation bill using current policy himself without needing a ruling from the Senate parliamentarian. So they're just going to ignore him. That's it. And Democrats said that pushing current policy and ignoring the parliamentarian would be like going nuclear on Senate rules and would further weaken the institution. In fact, this is what Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said. Quote, "It shows that Republicans are so hell-bent on giving these tax breaks to the billionaires that they're willing to break any rules, norms, and things they promised they wouldn't do." To which Republicans probably said, LOL, what? You believe me? You actually believe me? Sucker. You guys are suckers. Ha! More like paid to lose, but still. Would you look at that? They're going to ignore the Senate parliamentarian. Look, expecting Republicans to play by the rules is just wishful fantasy at this point. It'll never happen. They don't care about the rules. That's not to say that Democrats couldn't challenge what Republicans are doing. That would require a little bit of, I don't know, backbone, a little bit of intestinal fortitude, something. Now, unless Republicans manage to structure the inquiry in such a way that they technically wouldn't be voting to overrule the parliamentarian, even though they would be ignoring the parliamentarian. In fact, here's Senator Lisa Murkowski saying of the GOP plan, quote, "The way it's going to be set up is it's not overruling the parliamentarian, except there totally are. It's a parliamentarian inquiry as to whether or not the budget chairman can do this. We would not be overruling the parliamentarian. We would be supporting the interpretation of the chairman, which just so happens to ignore the ruling of the parliamentarian." You see why this what's going on here, okay? You see what's happening. This is a perfect example of Republicans pulling out every trick in the book that they have in order to give wealthy donors their tax cuts. That's what this is all about. Imagine if they or the Democrats actually fought for regular people as hard as they fight for their donors. I mean, we would have higher wages and healthcare by now. But they don't. And so all of this is just another reason that we have to get money out of our political system. And why Democrats need to stop worrying so much about decorum, rules, and norms, because Republicans are out there shattering those rules and norms every single day. Okay. USA-style trickle-down economics. Golden shower from the Golden Tower. Wow. I mean, it's totally true. But yeah. Ouch. It's definitely true. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's go to our not a drag queen story. Good old Dirty Dan. A disgraced Republican ex-city councilman from New York City who once tried to rig the mayoral election has been busted once again. This time for having videos showing child sexual abuse. And I'm talking thousands of videos. 54-year-old Dan Holleran was recently arrested at Miami International Airport as he had arrived in the U.S. for a layover flight from Cuba, according to a criminal complaint filed in the Southern District of Florida on Saturday. He was found with 1,362 child sex videos hidden in a folder on his iPhone, to which, of course, he admitted, is like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I do have thousands of those. Oh, that's absolutely disgusting. What a horrible human being. Now, the former councilman, who worked as a dive instructor while living in the Long Island suburb of Floral Park, had apparently amassed a very large collection of those images and videos from Telegram. So, now, this was not his first rodeo. As I had mentioned, he tried to rig an election, so he previously served prison time for that. was arrested back in 2013 along then State Senator Malcolm Smith after being accused of taking $20,000 in bribes as part of a scheme to get Smith, a IDC Democrat, on the ballot for mayor as a Republican. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the IDC in a few minutes, but at the time his lawyer had made an unsuccessful 11th hour plea to try to claim insanity. Oh, no, I'm 100% totally corrupt. But my client here is insane because he thinks that money runs everything and that he can just bribe his way. Well, yeah, I mean, okay. Now, this guy is your quintessential corrupt New York City politician, okay? The guy took money from pretty much anyone. I mean, it took money from Democrats in bribes, okay, in order to try to convince Republicans to support this IDC Democrat in this mayoral race, okay? Now, he had told a government informant, money is what greases the wheels, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, yes, he's right about that, but still, that doesn't mean that you can just take bribes. Not like that. Campaign contributions are different. Those are bribes, but they're legal, okay? But this is different. Now, he actually ended up getting a $7,500 cash bribe from the federal agent's cooperating witness. And now we can see that some of what he spent some of that money on, and it's absolutely disgusting, okay? Horrific. Now, he was convicted of this back in 2014 and actually served 5 years of a 10-year prison sentence before being released due to COVID. So, I mean, there it is. Dirty Dan is a corrupt Republican into CSAM. I got a note here. Not a drag queen. Not a drag queen. These are the kinds of people that you need to watch out for, okay? This is not a drag queen. It's not a trans person. It's not a member of the LGBTQ community. This is a white cis Republican. These are the people that are a danger to your kids. Not trans people. Not drag queens. Not people reading them books, okay, in the library. Not library books, okay? It's Republican politicians and members of the clergy. Those are the real dangers. Those are the predators. Okay. And by the way, the Democrat that he tried to get on the Republican ticket, Malcolm Smith, was a member of the IDC, the Independent Democratic Caucus. So IDC Democrats are basically, and they basically just vote with Republicans in New York City. Okay, they're an extension of the Republican Party that call themselves Democrats. They actually helped the state Republican Party keep control of the legislature's upper chamber. So that's what this guy helped with, okay? And so that's who these people are. Dirty Dan, he dirty. Anyone who did business with him, also dirty, okay? And those of you who, or those out there who have done business with him, and we don't know that they did business with them, well, I would think that those people should be pretty concerned now. Every accusation by a Republican is an admission. This is true. What was Dirty Dan diving for? I don't want to know. Okay. Dan Holleran's a Republican? Shocking. I know, right? Nobody could see that one coming. Nobody. Okay. All right. Last one here. And this is some it's some inside baseball. Okay. It appears that former President Barack Obama did not have any faith in Kamala Harris or her ability to defeat Donald Trump and had worked against her. Apparently working behind the scenes to try to set up a mini primary after then President Joe Biden dropped out of the race. So now this is according to a new book titled Fight: Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House. Okay. NBC political reporter Jonathan Allen, who co-authored the book with The Hill senior correspondent Amy Parnas, recently went on MSNBC's Morning Joe to say that sources told them that Obama, quote, didn't think that she was the best choice for Democrats and had lobbied for an open convention instead. Interesting. So now, here's what they said. This is Jonathan Allen. So President Obama absolutely did not think that Joe Biden should continue. Okay, good. According to our sources close to President Obama. And he also didn't want Kamala Harris to be this replacement for Biden. He didn't think that she was the best choice for Democrats. And he worked really behind the scenes for a long time to try to have a mini primary or an open convention or mini primary leading to an open convention. He did not have faith in her ability to win the election. So, and as it turned out, she didn't win, but he was really working against her. Now, look, that explains some things. Okay. Explains a lot of things. Like why he waited about 5 days after the baton was handed to her to actually put out an endorsement. So that said, Obama had set up a phone call with Congressman Jim Clyburn, okay, from South Carolina. That's on the day that Biden handed off the baton to Harris. Now, Obama had set up this call with Clyburn for about 5:30 that afternoon. Apparently, Clyburn thought to himself, this guy is going to try to rope me into the open convention thing. I better get my endorsement of Harris out there fast. So this is a short conversation. And when Harris talked to Obama on the day that Biden handed off to her, Obama was unwilling to give his endorsement then. And again, as I mentioned, it took about 5 days for that endorsement to come. So now look, this is actually really interesting because it shows you like the power dynamics in the Democratic Party. President Obama had a lot of influence in that party, but apparently not enough to have kept Harris out, which is really interesting. I think the one thing that the establishment was only really truly united on was keeping Bernie Sanders out. Apparently everything else was up in the air. And what's interesting too is here we are, Obama calling Jim Clyburn. Okay. Again with the Clyburn call, because this that happened in 2020 as well. In the way to try to stop Bernie Sanders, Obama gives a call to Clyburn and says, well, hey, look, we got to beat Bernie Sanders, okay? And then gave a call to pretty much everybody else, okay, that was in that race and said, you need to drop out of the race and endorse Joe Biden, all right? We got to stop Bernie. We've got to stop him. And they did. Now, this time, however, this was to stop Kamala Harris. And he failed. And look, I'm going to be completely honest with you about this, okay? I believed at the time that going with Kamala Harris made some sense. Why? Well, obviously, Joe Biden was going to win. And I didn't believe at the time that there was enough for a robust primary to pick a really good, candidate. I think had Joe Biden bowed out earlier, things would have been better, okay? But he didn't, and that really, really hurt. Any candidate coming out of that would have had a hard time. But Harris, I think, made her job that much more difficult, okay? Now, I also had made the argument that, hey, look, Harris is going to get the war chest. And that's a lot of money. They're going to need it for ads. And so, yeah, that makes sense. But I was wrong. Of course, I was wrong. And I actually do wish we had listened to Obama and had a mini primary or an open convention. Because I think that way we would have actually had a stronger candidate. Now, not only that, but look, if Harris had not run as Republican light, if she had been able to keep that energy that she had after picking walls, and was able to distance herself from Biden enough, then she might have actually been much more successful. Okay, because maybe she would have actually won. Because I remember all the energy surrounding the Harris campaign right after she was, the Biden had dropped out. Okay, we got a chance now. Things are going to get better. And some of the polls started to reflect that. Okay. That said, she made some mistakes that destroyed that energy. Okay. Her political instincts are not good, especially in fighting somebody like Donald Trump. I think economic populism would have helped her campaign a lot. Having big, bold, progressive ideas would have helped a lot. Being able to keep up with that energy that young people were putting in, were feeling about the campaign. I remember people getting coconut pilled everywhere, right? But unfortunately, she lost that. She traveled with Liz Cheney. Okay, she talked about her Glock. She talked about we've got such a lethal military, and I think what's really important is she did not distance herself from Biden's support of the Israeli genocide. And so that was an absolute unforced error. It was a disaster, and she got punished for it. That's the issue. But look, she ran the kind of campaign that the establishment wanted her to run. Oh, we're going to get the moderates. We're going to get the anti-Trump Republicans in the suburbs. Back to the old Chuck Schumer quote. Oh, for every, working class person we lose in Pennsylvania, we'll pick up 2 suburban Republicans. Didn't happen because it never happens. They always end up voting for Republicans anyway. So at the end of the day, actually, Barack Obama was correct on this. And it is kind of ironic, too, because Barack Obama is part of the establishment. He did his damnedest to keep a progressive economic populist out of the White House. It was very, very successful, but couldn't get someone in the establishment to beat Donald Trump. So a lot of what we're dealing with right now, in my opinion, is not just Harris's fault, but it's also the fault of President Joe Biden at the time and former President Barack Obama and the rest of the establishment. There is a lot of blame to go around for the second loss to Donald Trump. And now we're continuing to find out even more and more about it. All right. There you go. I agree Harris should have distanced herself from Biden, said Grumpy Cat. It's true. Very, very true. Damn it, Barry, aren't you supposed to be doing speaking engagements? Indeed. All right. Let's see. Elon is trying to bring apartheid with him from South Africa. Not surprised. Just a bad timing because we're about ready to hang it up for the day. But hey, you can go and watch through the show from the beginning. That's always an option. I think there was 4 years wasted that could have gone to building up a good Democratic president or candidate for president. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Definitely should have been building something up, but instead, the Democratic Party has basically, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how I want to phrase this to make sure that it comes out right. But the Democratic Party has basically just been focused on like status quo, right? Keeping Biden was basically a maintenance president. Okay. So look, the first Trump administration ratcheted everything to the far right and gave them a lot of energy. Did Biden dial any of that back? Not really. Not at all. So he just kind of sat there and didn't really do a whole lot of progress or really anything to fix a lot of what Trump had broken. Did some of these things, for sure. But at the end of the day, there wasn't really anything he could do to fix the broken Republican Party. In fact, he emboldened the Republican Party. And so that's really what happened. Emboldened them and wasn't really able to make headway on a lot of very important progressive policies. He's basically, as I said, maintenance president. Okay. And so it's difficult for someone who is so focused on norms and maintenance and all that stuff to do the kind of things that are necessary to fight off against a right-wing populist insurgency like Trump. And so that's what happened. And unfortunately, our establishment is very, very unprepared to be able to fight against someone like Donald Trump, who uses this false right-wing economic populism. And I call it false populism because that's what it is. You're not actually helping average people. You're not actually helping working class people. You're helping the rich, the elite, the wealthy, etc. So there it is. We cannot dismiss the random havoc wreaked by the COVID pandemic. Oh yeah, and the fact that it broke a lot of people's brains too. And so there's that. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot that brought us to this moment. Okay, and I mean, yes, hindsight's 2020, but guess what? You can kind of learn things from the past, and that's the problem with the Democratic Party is they're not learning from, they're not learning these lessons from their experiences. They're not passing the torch. They're just going back and saying, well, I don't know, if we keep doing the things that we were doing before, then everything is going to be fine. And that, unfortunately, is just not going to work. But that's my read of the situation. Okay. Anywho, that's all I got for you today. Thank you. Oh, it's mirrored on TikTok. I know, I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So, apologies. It is really strange. But yeah, I'll try to fix that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and share stream if you haven't already. Please consider becoming a patron, patreon.com/jeffwaldorf, as well as becoming a channel member on YouTube. Really need your help to continue to do this, fighting against Donald Trump and the right wing, as well as the establishment, and maybe try to push, for progressive policy. So please help us out. Really appreciate it. Thank you all, and take care of yourselves and your communities. We will see you back here, hopefully tomorrow.